There is one big thing for you as a DoorDash Dasher that the company just committed to, quote, aggressively invest in this year in 2024. They were asked about your Dasher earnings as well, Dasher supply, and as a Dasher, one order type that you might start to see more of. I just listened to DoorDash's thrilling 47 minutes quarterly earnings call, and I'm going to summarize it for you in this video, just taking out the most important points that you care about as a Dasher. In their prepared remarks, they say, we expect to continue investing aggressively in several areas of our business in 2024, particularly in our new verticals in international markets. This is something that I've been watching closely as a fellow Dasher, and for you, the order types that are not restaurant delivery. In fact, CEO Tony Xu said when we first started the company now 10 years ago, they solved the basic problem and people knew that, hey, I can get a quick lunch or dinner from DoorDash. But now, absolutely, the focus in 2024, and you might start seeing more and more of these orders, it's non-restaurant deliveries. The company continues, we believe our selection in new verticals is still shallow. Our quality has significant room to improve and consumer awareness for our services remain low. They say we must add more merchants. Work and investment in these areas will remain a key focus for us in 2024. Now, while they have, quote, a long way to replace the offline experience, customers going into a grocery store for their, let's say, weekly or bi-weekly grocery trip, if the basket size, what consumers are actually ordering on DoorDash increases for grocery runs, might that mean more tips on DoorDash? We saw the same thing talked about for Uber. But here's the thing, if you don't like shop and deliver like myself, especially if it is 30, 40 items, a larger grocery run, then there's also, from Tony again, a lot of runway on these other new verticals. What is that? It's convenience, it's retail, and it's alcohol. Well, speaking of, let's throw in DashMarts because CFO Ravi Unikondo was asked about DashMarts. What's your thought on DashMarts? Are you going to expand it, close it, and when is it going to become profitable? They're pleased with DashMarts. They're doing well compared to plan, and increasing the volume of DashMarts is also the goal of 2024. So how many runs are you getting on DashMarts? Comment that down below because, again, combined with non-restaurant, you might start seeing more of these as well. Let's talk directly about your pay, though, on the obviously independent contractor model, but targeting specific marketplaces in New York and Seattle that have imposed new policies with minimum pay. And is that something that might come to more marketplaces in 2024? Tony basically overtly said no, even calling those policies to the extreme. Cost prices through the overall system, less consumer choices, lower sales for merchants, and fewer opportunities for Dashers. In my opinion, not seemingly a big concern for Tony and the team and DoorDash at large here, the new regulations in the affected marketplaces. And Ravi actually commented that overall, this is a very small portion of the overall volume for DoorDash. Now listen to this next part because Tony was directly asked pretty much at the very end of this quarterly earnings call, talk to us about Dashers. Talk to us about average pay. Where is pay going for 2024? What about Dasher supply? A really good question at the end of this call. Let's see what he said. Tony said that the supply of Dashers is the healthiest they've ever seen. Now, with 7 million Dashers, because the number one benefit that Dashers cite with DoorDash is flexibility. Now, I'll kind of agree with that, but doesn't most every side hustle app have independent contractor flexibility, going online, offline when you want, being able to accept or decline requests as much as you want? But I guess we did see some new features, earnings mode, earn by time in 2023. So no direct citations of pay or hourly pay or bonus pay or peak pay, none of that but, and let me know if you agree with this down below. Tony did mention that most Dashers are dashing less than 4 hours in an entire week. And the company actually illustrated that this time in their letter to investors saying, hey, DoorDash is kind of like sand, filling in the earnings opportunities of full-time jobs or other part-time or independent contractor work. But hold on, because I feel like DoorDash has cited the whole, hey, Dashers are dashing 4 hours or less a week before. All they have in their Q4 2021 earnings call citing, hey, Dashers on average worked less than 4 active hours per week. Yeah, they also cited it a couple of months prior in January of 2022 in their DoorDash Impact Report. It was also cited in their Q4 2022 earnings call. 62% of Dashers spend less than 4 hours per week in the app. Okay, that's fine. I guess Dashers are consistently driving a certain amount of weeks over the years, but what about the money that DoorDash is actually spending to acquire new Dashers? I first noticed this Q3 of 2022, DoorDash saying, hey, the total Dasher costs per order declined quarter over quarter and year over year. They said the same thing Q2 of 2023, Dasher acquisition costs declined on both a year over year and a quarter over quarter basis. They also said the same thing in the following quarter, Q3 of 2023. And they also said the same thing here, Q4 of 2023. But maybe for a little bit of solace here, quarter over quarter, comparing this quarter over last quarter, that at least there was an increase in Dasher acquisition costs. Spending less to acquire new Dashers unfortunately makes sense if they're saying that engagement is at an all-time high insofar as Dashers remaining active as couriers, and also highlighting that a record number of people chose to Dash in the US in 2023. This is also on the heels of DoorDash looking pretty strong across monthly sales in the food delivery space year after year after year after year. So now what? As a DoorDash Dasher, what should your game plan be and what should we be looking for in 2024? Number one, again, what I've been tracking here, new verticals, continuing to see not just restaurants, but overall new options, overall new merchants, and more partners across all of these options. While it wasn't directly mentioned in this call, I'm going to tell you to possibly look out for more stacked orders, but more non-restaurant stacked orders, because 2022 stacked orders, it's restaurant A, restaurant B, but especially in 2023, it's restaurant A, convenience store A, and then possibly even going to the same customer, really encouraging that kind of cross-selling batching. Let me review the pros and the cons here, because on one hand, more order types and more merchants, hopefully a lot more merchants across all these order types, gives you more options. Consequently, if we're having a record number of Dashers and they're staying engaged, they're continuing to drive on the platform, albeit maybe on average 4 hours a week or less, then is it still going to be in equilibrium? I'm not going to have more choice because there's more Dashers. There's the argument of peak pay. There's the argument of the summer slowdown, where statistically it slows down a bit in the summer months. That's also following the trends of that peak pay, the per delivery bonus, and if we're seeing most likely a tapering of peak pay that used to be $3, maybe $4 in your marketplace per delivery, tapering down to $2, $1, we've seen 50 cents. On the positive, I do think DoorDash is doing more than basically any other side hustle app to give us more order types, the alcohol, restaurant convenience, package delivery, whatever, the restaurant delivery, and actually, which really no one else has done, different earnings modes. We had earn per time, we have the earn per offer, of course. And CEO Tony Xu did say at the end of this call that they will continue to invest and look at more earnings opportunities and earnings modes and earnings types for Dashers this year. But conversely, of course, it's not all perfect. If we are seeing more and more Dashers, my biggest concern, the peak pay, if I think certainly peak pay is decreasing, the overall hourly average that you're getting when you drive is going to go down. So subscribe here, drop a like on this video if you can, go to yourdrivermight.com, check out courses and resources to help you in most any side hustle. I'm very curious what new features we're going to see from DoorDash, because again, every single year we typically see something actually concretely new from DoorDash that really Uber Eats aren't doing to the degree that DoorDash is. And I feel like closely watching how many orders are we getting, how many drivers does it kind of feel like, do I have to wait longer in between trips, and of course, arguably the most important thing when it comes to pay, that peak pay.